welcome to the Improved Garage YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed, please click the subscribe button. So today's video is obviously on the Mini Cooper that's sitting there behind me in this background. I'm recording using Zoom for this so that I can kind of talk to the computer and show a couple different things. So yeah, the 2015 Mini Cooper S that I purchased, it's March. I purchased it in October or September, somewhere in that neighborhood, was totaled. And I'll show the video here. So as you can see, you know, I'm parked on the side of a road, and there's 3 lanes driving in my direction. I'm parked legally on the side of the road. And there's a car that's in the middle of 3 lanes and a car that's in the furthest away lane. And the car in the furthest away lane turns right very quickly with no blinker across 3 lanes of traffic and ends up hitting the Ford Edge hit this Pontiac Vibe, and threw the Pontiac Vibe kind of up on the sidewalk. And he ricocheted off of the building and smashed into my Mini. So my Mini gets pushed into the car in front of it. You know, here's the kind of the damage on the side. You can see the suspension, the rear, the bumper on the front of the car. So there's, you know, quite a bit of damage on 3/4 of the vehicle. So I realized during this process that a lot of people don't have experience with insurance companies, with having an accident, with having aftermarket installed parts, with some of the other things that go into this. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that, and I'm going to give you the real numbers, how this all worked out for me and what it looks like and what the process was like and kind of all of it. The car got hit on Wednesday, February 16th. It happened around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 12:30 in the afternoon, something thereabouts. And I was in the town of Bakersfield, which is about 2 hours away from where I live. I live in the San Luis Obispo, California area. Obviously, the car is undrivable. So I call 911, get the police to come out, do a police report. The driver of the other vehicle is, you know, taken care of and stuff. And he ends up not needing an ambulance. I then call a tow truck, and I try to find a tow truck that can bring my car back to my home, not to my house, but to a body shop that is in my home region, which I'm allowed to do because, you know, I need to be able to deal with that and get my stuff out of it, and I have to get home. And that was it was like a 140-mile one-way trip. So in total, the truck did 280 miles. I was billed $760 for that trip, and they took me and the car. What was really cool was they were able to drop me off at my house on the way, which is something the tow truck driver technically isn't supposed to do, but he drops me off at my house on the way. I was able to grab my Honda Passport and follow him to the body shop where the car was being dropped off. I paid the bill out of pocket for the tow truck, $760, and the car was dropped at the body shop. So I filed a claim with my insurance company, and you know, the reason, like, you pay for insurance to protect you. That's one thing that a lot of people don't understand. Like, I have insurance for me. Somebody else might be at fault. Somebody else, their insurance might pick up the bill, but you should deal with your insurance. Your insurance is designed to make you whole. They're who you pay to work on your car on your behalf. If you're not paying for full coverage insurance, then you might not have a choice but to work with the other person's insurance company. But in my case, I call my insurance company. Now, I have Allstate. Allstate's a popular insurance company. I don't think that they're any better or any worse than, you know, I've used Nationwide in the past. I've used Geico in the past. I've had, you know, insurance claims that were against an at-fault party that was driving with Progressive. So, like, I'm familiar with a lot of insurance companies, and they all seem to be pretty similar in their claims process. So I filled out the claim, or started the claim. I called in and did the claim process with my, you know, with the person who answers the phone when you call in, and, you know, kind of go through, this is what happened, this is what the experience was like, this is, you know, here's my story. They record that, and they ask for any information that I have. So that's where it's important to, you know, gather information when you're on site and make sure that you have everything that you need to, you know, provide them the information that they need to be able to protect you. So I go ahead and I upload all of my pictures And in this case, I actually had a video of exactly what happened, and put that all in my claim, which is pretty easy to do. There's a website that you log into, and with your Allstate account, you just add all of your stuff. So there it is. So I upload all of my information to the claim. This all happened on Wednesday, same day. So by 4 p.m. on Wednesday evening, day one, they had the claim, they had the car at the body shop, they had the pictures, they had everything that they needed. So now we get into what kind of the COVID delays, or the seasonal delays. It's February when this happened, so because of that, Allstate's working on a lot of claims for snowy areas and those types of things. So they end up not assigning an adjuster to the accident until the following Monday. So on Monday, they reach out to the body shop. The adjuster reached out to the body shop, and they do something called a virtual assist thing. So it's like think of it like a FaceTime or a Zoom meeting. And the body shop is basically walking around the car, showing them all the damage, going through everything with them, and just kind of giving them all the information that they need. Then somebody at Allstate writes an estimate, and they're writing an estimate virtually based on not actually seeing the car. So it's kind of understood that this estimate is going to be incomplete, but it's going to be as complete as they can possibly make it. So my original estimate for this car, I receive a call, and this is Monday afternoon. I receive a call from the estimator, and he tells me, we did the virtual assist. We see that there's $11,994 worth of damage, just under $12,000. We need roughly $15,000 worth of damage for the car to be a total loss. So at this time, it's still seen as repairable. They ask me if I want the body shop to start working on the vehicle. And that basically means that the body shop is going to start tearing down and finishing up the estimate. They're going to take the Allstate estimate. They're going to look at the car, and they're going to write what's called a supplemental, which adds on to the Allstate estimate to determine what is actually needed to fix this car. So in this case, my body shop does that the next day. So now we're Tuesday. So we're just under 1 week away from the day that everything started. And they get the supplemental uploaded that morning, Tuesday morning. It was like 11:15 a.m. So at that point, the estimate from the body shop side of things, we were at $17,277 worth of damage, because there was some suspension work that was missed, and there was some front end damage that was missed. My core support punctured the radiator, caused some damage to the AC system, and some other things that were just kind of missed by Allstate that really couldn't be seen visually from the phone app. So that gets uploaded on Tuesday. And then it honestly kind of stalled. So, this estimate is there, and it's sitting there. And at this point, I know that the car is going to be totaled. But Allstate hasn't officially said the car is going to be totaled, but I know that there's going to be some arguing back and forth over the money, the $5,000 supplemental, but it's not going to be enough to make it less than $15,000 in total damage, which is what it takes to total the car. So I talked to the adjuster in the body shop, and I decided to go to the body shop and recover some of my parts from the car. So I have 3 of my 4 wheels are not broken. My aftermarket intake, my NM intake, my BFI shift knob, my downpipe, my M-cubed downpipe, my dyno tune, the piggyback tune with the harness. So I go back and I pull all of that stuff off. So basically I leave the car. The only aftermarket parts that I had installed are the black trim parts, most of which are damaged. The one wheel on the right rear that is broken, and the short shifter and the coilover, I call them coilover, but the Coney struts, the NM springs, and the NM rear sway bar end links, and rear sway bar mount kit. So all of those parts were kind of left behind. The scuttle plates I was able to swap out. Like a lot of the other stuff I was able to swap and kind of return the car to stock. Now I can't leave the car as a pile of crap because they're going to assess it as a pile of crap. I have to return the car to stock and make it so that it's a complete vehicle. So, they end up, I do all of that, and it took them about another week to review the supplemental, to do another virtual assist, to go through the additional damage, and to finally determine that the car is totaled. So now let's talk about the numbers, the actual numbers. I'm gonna be very transparent with this. So I bought the car for $14,988. I paid tax on that of $1,096.42. I had some fees, $135 in fees. There's registration in California is expensive, is $315, and then $8 for emissions tests. So my total spent on the car was $16,542.67. Now, in aftermarket parts that I was not able to recover from the vehicle, I had a single wheel and tire, which I replaced for $495.56. So that's a wheel, a tire, and a TPMS sensor. The rear sway bar with end links and mounts, which are $530. The Coney struts, which were $726. The NM springs, which were $284. And various black parts, the trim rings, the gas cap, the door handles, the lights rings, and the front grille ring. And those total about $400. So in total, I'm into the car for $18,978.41. So that's what I spent on the car, just under $19,000. That's what I'm into the car for. So Allstate will have no consideration whatsoever about that number. Honestly, the amount of money that you spend on a car does not have anything to do with what it's worth in most cases. You can sometimes argue that it's going to take that amount of money to replace the vehicle, but to be perfectly honest with you, in most cases, the amount of money that you spend on a car doesn't matter. That's why it's important to buy cars well and not not buy something to immediately be upside down in, or to have something like gap insurance that'll cover that gap if you do get into an accident. It's like in this case, this accident is even my fault. Allstate does a comparison. So they look for cars in your area that are reasonably similar to the vehicle that you had. So in my case, they pulled 3 different cars. One was a 2014, one was a 2015, one was a 2016. They had between 40 and 70,000 miles. They had, different options, slightly more, slightly less, this or that. And they came up with what they felt was the actual cash value of my car based on the amount of money that it would take to replace it. So they don't care about Kelley Blue Book value. They don't care about the NADA guides value. They only care about what it's going to take to replace the vehicle, to make me whole again. So that number was $17,780. Now, in the state of California, they are required to pay tax. So the tax works out to $1,289.05. That gets me to a total of $19,069.05. So that's the amount of money that my car is going to pay out to me. And truthfully, me purchasing the car, I paid tax, so that's kind of a wash. So the difference between those two numbers is $89. So they are paying me $89 more than what I had into my car. Now, aftermarket parts don't really come into play for the most part. You can have aftermarket part coverage on your vehicle, but the aftermarket parts need to be damaged, and they will provide replacement of those aftermarket parts in the repair of a vehicle. So it's kind of a weird situation. So, I didn't get any additional money because my car had better suspension on it. I get the actual value of the vehicle. That's taken into account when they consider the assessment, but it's not something that I gained an extra $1,500 because these parts existed, right? So I get 19,069.05. Out of that, I lose my $500 deductible. The reason that I lose my deductible is because even though I'm not at fault, the person who hit me drove off. So it can't go on my uninsured motorist or my underinsured motorist because we don't know if the person who hit me actually had insurance or not. And in the state of California, that's how it works. So my deductible is gone. The only thing would be if they were able to find the person who hit me, then they can determine, does he have insurance? They can go after his insurance for the deductible. If he doesn't have insurance, then my uninsured motorist would pick it up. And if he didn't have enough insurance, then my underinsured motorist would pick it up. But in that case, that money is gone. So that leaves me with $18,569.05. Now they're going to pay me an additional $760 to cover the towing, which is a wash because I spent that money on the towing. So, that needs to be reimbursed. So I'm going to get a check for $19,329.05. Now, the car has a the car has a loan on it. So the car was financed through Mechanics Bank, which is the bank that the used car dealership happened to use when they wrote the loan originally. Like I don't have affinity to Mechanics Bank or any other bank for that matter. So there's a loan on the car for like $15,350 is I think the balance that's owed, because I haven't made many payments on it because I just bought the freaking thing. So what'll end up happening is they will write a check to Mechanics Bank, and that will pay off the car. The title will be released to them. The car is gone. It goes to auction, and they will auction that off as a salvage vehicle, and somebody may buy it and try to fix it. They may buy it and take parts from it. They may whatever. But the car is gone, and the the loan gets paid off, and the difference comes to me. So in this case, I'm going to get about $4,000 sent to me. 760 of it is going to cover my my amount that I spent on towing, and the rest of it is the difference between what the car is currently worth and what I owed on the car. So, reasonably, they made me whole to the tune of plus $70 or $80 minus my deductible. But it still sucks, because you go and you spend all this time and energy and effort working with the insurance company, giving your statement, going back and forth with the body shop and everybody else and trying to move this thing along. It's been 2 weeks that I don't have a car. Today is 2 weeks, and that's when the termination was made, and I don't have the money yet, and I won't have the money for a while. Because it gets sent to a final loss department, who's then going to have to reach out to the bank. They're going to have to validate my payoff. Then they're going to send a check to the bank to pay everything off. They might send the entire amount to the bank and then kick the rest to me, or they might send me a check and the bank a check, depending on what the bank wants. So that'll kind of determine, how quickly I see my money. There is an expectation that they're going to give me the $760 today, so I should see that pretty quickly. But that's kind of what it looks like. So really, at the end of the day, the aftermarket parts don't really matter. The condition does. The fact that my car was clean gave me extra money. The fact that my car had low mileage on it, that gave me extra money. But the fact that my car has cones and low ring springs, the insurance company doesn't care about that. So, I did have the ability, I could have gone over there and removed them, but with the rear suspension being crushed the way that it was, I would have needed, a spring, which I can't buy just one, and I would have needed a coney, which I could buy just one, and I would have needed a new rear sway bar and end link anyway, and they're sold in kits, so like it was worthless for me to go over and try to steal any additional parts. I probably could have pulled the short shifter out of the car, but it requires taking apart the whole center console, and it's quite a bit of work, and I don't really want to do that in somebody else's parking lot. So, it's kind of where I'm at. So obviously, I picked up a new Mini Cooper, not new, but I picked up a 2016 Mini Cooper, John Cooper Works. So there's going to be a bunch of content on that. So, please subscribe if you're interested in the mini stuff, or even if you're not. I think the John Cooper Works is a really cool platform. I think it's going to be cool to build on. So we'll see what happens with that. So thank you for watching, and have a great day.